Fraser,
How you doing?
it's Phil Human, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for finally making, I know, and I say that because I know you've had a bit of an epic last minute.
A little bit of a journey, but
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
it's been worth it, of course.
Brilliant. So if you can just tell us, if you can give us a quick, brief outline about the film and how you were involved in it, where it came from, we'll sort of go from there.
How it came about? Well, it's called To Feel Human.
Yeah.
And it's about an unemotional angel who wishes to experience human emotions for the first time, unaware of the consequences that lay ahead. So it's kind of touching on human issues, like us taking for granted being human and the privileges that we have. And I wanted to kind of create an inspiring message and meaning behind it, you know, in the world today where, you know, people don't necessarily appreciate what it means to actually be human. You know, just simple emotions and simple experiences that we have, like interactions with other humans, relationships, things like that. So I wanted to create some type of inspiring story and message through it.
And so from the off, this was your idea?
Yeah, it was. So I produced it, I'm the lead actor in it, and I co-created it with my Japanese film partner, Junpei Suzuki. And the remarkable thing is he moved from Japan to LA, and I met him on the first day. He moved in to live with me, and within a day we came up with the idea to make this film.
Oh, so there was no actual idea for this is when the germination of it
Yeah, so it all happened spontaneously, really unconventional. So he's a cinematographer, I'm a producer and an actor, and we just came together and we said, let's shoot something, let's film. And so we went out and we found amazing locations in LA just to kind of create scenes and create a story. And then we just started developing it as it went along. We just, every day over the next 2 weeks, we went out, we started filming different locations, we built the story. I originally was a hitman, an unemotional hitman, and then we converted it into an unemotional angel because it's kind of more broad and more interesting, you know, that sort of outer world experience. And so yeah, we went about LA, Los Angeles, and out into the desert, found these crazy locations, and just developed the stories as we went along. And we edited it, filmed it within 2 weeks, and started releasing it and submitting it to festivals. So.
And it's doing well. Obviously, it's doing well.
Yeah, well, we're really pleased. You know, we got into Nice Film Festival, and it's playing at Cannes Film Festival next week.
Oh, so you are here for
at the Short Film Corner.
Right.
So yeah, here for both.
Blimey. So how long are you actually here for in total? About a week or so?
About 9 days. Yeah.
Worst places to be. Mind you, if you're from
Exactly.
LA. So please tell me. I know we sort of joked a little bit, but you're obviously originally British, and this is via Australia, Sweden, Canada.
No, not quite Canada. No. So I'm originally obviously from England, from Cambridge, and I went.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice little area. I went to a boarding school up north. I was originally a musician. So I was at this boarding school on a music scholarship, and when I left school, I moved to Australia to kind of, you know, get some world experiences, see the world, and I ended up studying music in Australia, and that's actually where I got into acting. So while I was doing my music in Sydney, I got into acting on some small TV shows there, you know, starting with small featured roles and then building my way up, getting training over the next few years. I got my music degree in Sydney, did some acting training there, acting work, and then I moved to Sweden. I lived in Sweden for 3 years. I did my acting there, I did, you know, continued doing some music, but I was really focusing on my acting and my producing there.
So you'd really been bitten by the bug.
Yeah.
I know you love music, but suddenly there's this.
Yeah, there's transformation. I mean, once a performer, always a performer. And I always felt my calling was acting. You know, when I was on stage as a trumpet player, I always felt that there was more that I was, you know, that I wanted to give, personally, physically. So, you know, I found that calling in acting, and as soon as I, you know, fell in love with acting all those years ago, I realized I needed to get to Los Angeles. I mean, you know, it's the epitome of the industry of Hollywood, and so, you know, I spent the next couple of years preparing for my move to Los Angeles, and it all worked out perfectly. I've been there for the last 2 years, been really getting into life as an actor and a producer there, and, you know, I'm now creating my own projects.
So generally, you're generally pleased with the way it's all gone?
Very, very pleased. I couldn't be happier. You know, it's been a journey, but I couldn't be happier. You know, I've got some really exciting projects coming up back in Los Angeles.
Could you have done any of this Britain, or really you do need to be there?
I think, I mean, the opportunities are endless in Los Angeles. It's just incredible.
Because there's always something new.
Yeah, I mean, you create your own opportunities. I mean, that's how I got into producing. I realised I wanted to create my own work. I wanted to write, I wanted to develop it, I wanted to make my own characters, which is what I did with To Feel Human. And I'm just lucky to be surrounded by such talented people out there like Junpei Suzuki, who was a cinematographer, and, you know, we made the film together every day, all night long, editing it, and you know, there's so many creative people out there, and the opportunities there are endless, and I'm just excited to.
And it must be an incredible place to live as well.
It is. You know, lifestyle in Los Angeles is like no other. You know, the sun, the beaches, the people. Everyone's so friendly. So you know, the culture.
I imagine it's full of Brits right now.
Well, not really. Not
I imagine it's just like swarmed with Brits. But I don't know why I think this. I'm certainly wrong.
No. Well, I mean, there's a fair amount of Brits, but obviously it's mostly Americans and a lot of Spanish people there, and which is great. And yeah, I'm just excited to be one of many in the industry working.
And looking back over this, because it's quite, you know, say, all joking aside, the journey from the UK there, do you ever sort of pinch yourself and think, fucking hell, this is an amazing sort of situation I've ended up being in?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I should have asked over what period of time it was.
Well, I'm 28 now, so I moved to Australia when I was 18. I moved to Sweden when I was 23. I moved to Los Angeles when I was 26.
Right.
And now one of my projects that I'm going to be making coming up soon is about my life previously as a trumpet player.
Oh,
so I'm
cool.
making a feature film.
So like a mini Miles Davis?
Kind of, yeah, but about a British guy.
Yeah.
So it's about my experience as a trumpet player. So I'll be, you know, acting as myself, as the lead actor, as the trumpet player in the film. I'll be producing it, directing it, and it's a full-on feature film, and it's about the struggles of a professional trumpet player who has mental health issues. I didn't personally have mental health issues, but I touched on different elements of mental health issues, you know, with the struggles of being a musician. And it's about his decline and how he ends up homeless on the streets, and he ends up as a homeless musician. But he's, you know, this very highly trained professional trumpet player, and he's trying to claw his way back into society and get his sanity back.
Fantastic. And whereabouts are you in that project? Well, you know.
Well, I've started writing it. I've almost finished the first draft of the script. I've got a lot of people kind of interested and wanting to jump on board, and so it's a question of, you know, locking in shoot days and just getting it started.
I suppose the trouble is that what you really want to do is creating all the time.
Yeah.
And don't take this the wrong way, but you have to market this one before, don't you?
Yeah.
So where you want to be behind the camera or in front of the camera, I guess it's all about managing your time. So how on earth do you do that? Because I suspect you've got a game plan of where you want to be with this new film.
Yeah.
But in the next, I don't know, month, 6 months, year, whatever, you're promoting to Phil Hume. So is there a space that you allocate?
I think you've just got to do as much as you can. You've got to literally, there's no point waiting around. There's so many actors, especially in Los Angeles, just sitting, waiting for opportunities, just hoping for auditions, waiting for their agent to call. I mean, you've got to create your own work. You've got to be at it all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And is it a better... Work-wise, are you better to be in front? What I mean by that is, for the opportunity, is it better to be in front or behind the camera?
Well, personally, you know, I'm an actor through and through, so that's what I want to do. That's where I want to be. But I enjoy being behind camera. I enjoy the creative side of producing creating work that you can say is yours. You know, but there's no better thrill than the actual performance as the actor. So it's kind of it's obviously I'm more an actor. But you know, being able to produce and create your own work is amazing.
And with sort of streaming services, which are now becoming very prevalent, and I know lots of people buying into it for all sorts of reasons, and I get that, you know, it's very convenient. But do you see that as any kind of threat, or do you think it's moving in the right direction?
No, that's the way things should be. Online, new media, you know, that's the new age is online streaming. You know, you've got the big giants like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, but you know, it's the other smaller kind of online networks and outlets that are providing the opportunities for people like myself to distribute and share with the world our projects. You know, our stories, our inspiring messages, our comedy. You know, that we need to find as many different outlets as possible to get our work out there to people, because there's so many stumbling blocks with getting to these big networks, getting to Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. You know, you have to pitch the whole thing. You have to go on a circuit of meeting all these top people, presenting, you know, teasers, you know, pilots obviously, and the scripts. But you know, if there's people able to put our work out there at a more accessible rate, then that's creating more opportunities for people like myself and for amazing stories to be told.
And in terms of the work that's required, just to put one film, let's use to Phil Hume as an example. I know you've been involved in a number of projects, but did you have any idea how much work was actually involved in being behind, on the production side, and that's because really you're spinning all the plates, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got it. It's at the end of the day, you know, you might have an editor or a director. I know it may not necessarily be so, but an editor, a director, a sound engineer, whatever. but the buck stops really with the producer in terms. You've got to make sure everything's in place.
You,
I mean, how
keeping
difficult is
everything
that?
together. Well, it was also especially a little bit more difficult on this film because Junpei isn't quite fluent in English.
Right.
So as a cinematographer and co-director, I was having to translate with all the cast and everything.
So he knows how to do it, but
he does it. But
the nuances.
We felt each other. It was like we had this connection, even though we'd known each other for a couple of days. We had this connection. I knew what he wanted to convey. So the limited English that we had working with each other, we were able to convey everything we needed. And obviously, there's a lot of work to be done as a producer, but the art comes from the camera and from the performances. The producer just ties everything together. So I mean, it's not that difficult. It's if you enjoy what you do, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's inspiring. It's exciting, and I would do it all day long.
Because I mean, the truth is, most people, excluding what you do and our connection to what here, look at filmmaking and think that's a really glamorous job and wow, I love. But actually, it's not. We all know it's bloody hard work.
It's not glamorous. I mean,
a lot sitting around, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, glamorous is probably what you refer to as Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like once you get to that celebrity lifestyle, that's glamorous. But the art of filmmaking is art. It's creative. It's hard work. It's tough. You have to be out there every day, all day long, creating ideas. It's inspiring. It's not difficult. It's challenging. It's not glamorous. It's art.
Yeah.
And hopefully people outside of the industry don't kind of know those intricate details of what it takes to make a film. But it's just like making anything. It requires effort and passion.
Yeah, and drive. I mean, the drive,
determination, persistence. Like just me getting here to Nice is, it's been 3 days of traveling in 2 or 3 different countries. I could have given up, but I wanted to be here. Yeah,
and like you say, we should point out you are going on to Cannes, so you've got all these things in place to promote, of course.
Yeah.
And it's the effort, and it is the effort required. And obviously we should. I mean, the finance as well. We understand that. I mean, that's obviously a struggle for all filmmakers. They've got to get X amount of money together to build their projects, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, that's one other thing. And I've never been blessed with wealth or with money, and I've always been self-sufficient. Found my own, way of surviving. And with To Feel Human, we work with a very minimal budget, and what we produced, we're really happy with. So it just goes to show, you can create amazing projects and stories with no money, with no budget. You don't need to go and try and find thousands of dollars to make a story. You just come up with the story, create it, write it, and get the team together, and you'll find if you get the right people, they'll be willing to make a great story, regardless of expense. And if you can cut costs, then do that. Obviously certain things cost money, but it just goes to show with the film that I made that you don't need lots of money to make a good story.
And it's obvious to me that you know marketing. I get that. I mean, is that as you're making it? Are you always aware of that? Is that right at the end of the process? Do you sort of think, right, okay, it's in the can, now we market?
No, definitely not. I don't think that far ahead. I think from the start. I think from the origins of the story. If I believe in the story, the rest should just happen. I mean, obviously you have to do the marketing stuff to get your film and message out there. But if you believe in the story and what you've created enough, the rest will sell itself. It may take longer, but if you're creating great work, exciting stuff, it's going to sell itself. I
mean, that's a task in itself. I mean, for instance, social media side of it. I mean, I don't know if you handle that yourself or get someone else to, or I should ask how important that is to you.
Yeah, it's huge. Social media now is huge. I mean, it's waning a little bit, but it's still a huge influencer with people sharing ideas.
That's interesting. So you think we've kind of reached a tipping point?
Yeah, I think so. I think recently, whether it's in the last year or so, we've got to the point where it's becoming too much.
Just the oversaturation.
Yeah, definitely oversaturation. Top celebrities are getting paid a lot of money to promote things, and I think people are getting a little bit tired of those of these people that they love,
which is really
just promoting
obvious,
products for a lot of money. So I think its influence will wane, but I think it will come back again. So I think there'll be different avenues that come in the future to, aside from social media. But I still believe in it. I still think it's a great way of spreading messages and stories and connecting people. So
yeah, I mean, it's vitally important to us. So I know exactly where you come from. But with us, it's we're not still getting to grips with it because we know it, but it has changed, and there has been a bit of a turnaround in the last year. I do agree, and I think the point you highlighted is relevant, and it does make people, because people become jaded and humans are humans, and we all have a point when we go, look, this is just so obvious and it's fake.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that, of course, is it's all bloody vitally important, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you've got your phone, you've got phones,
very
you know.
important. Definitely, and you know, like I said, it's connecting people. That's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's doing. And if, for as long as it continues to connect people and share, you know, positive things, we need it. We need it. And people need to use it. So hopefully people can use it in the right way.
And how much time is spent? Because I know you said in LA and out in the desert, but a couple of filmmakers said to me, there's all these permits and insurance. I mean, how much of a ball ache is organised? I'm sure you've got a approach, you know it now.
But I mean, with my film, it was just myself and Junpai who did everything, so we handled everything. But you know, there are certain areas in Los Angeles and places where you don't necessarily need permits, so it's a question of finding them. You know, if you don't have a big budget for permits, find the locations where you don't need one. Use your own resources, your own locations.
I didn't know that. I thought so. There's some certain enclaves or parts of the city where it's not a problem.
Well, I mean, it just depends. You know, if it's out in the desert or somewhere where you know it doesn't need coverage, then you know it's okay. So obviously you do need permits for most places, but it's not a huge issue. It's not a huge issue. And
anything that any sort of stories you can tell us that relate to the shoot that you hadn't planned for? Would it go according to plan?
Well, I mean, the crazy thing was the story developed as we went along, so we didn't know how it would end.
Oh, so
we didn't know.
So it was sort of non-linear, or you just had no way of ending it?
Well, we knew where it was starting. We knew the characters. We came up with the stories. We went along each day, and that was what brought the most magic to it, I think, because everything was improvised. We didn't have a script, so all of the dialogue, the actors, you know, myself and Junpai, we gave them a message to convey in that scene. And we improvised it, and then you know we had an idea where we wanted it to finish, and we got to the end and we felt happy with the ending.
And was that deliberate? I mean, did you deliberately want it to be open-ended? So normally, I assume you'd have a not a lockdown script, but a finished script. But on this occasion, you just went, you know what, we've got this part. Let's see how this goes as we go.
We could have kept on going for months and months every day, but you know we wanted to kind of not overdo it, so we've left it open-ended where it could be extended and expanded as a story.
Brilliant.
So you know that's a cliffhanger kind of. It's good to leave things like that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fraser.
Thank you very much.
You took it from me! Now I'm taking it from you! Why?
Do you know that everyone that comes here